Thank you for joining us for today's update for small businesses during the COVID-19 crisis. So there are a few changes that have come up and a few upcoming programs that you need to be aware of. First, the Department of Labor for Maryland is launching a new unemployment insurance application process. This starts tomorrow, Friday, April 24th, and there are several different unemployment programs that are entirely online. There's the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and this is for individuals who are not usually eligible for unemployment insurance, primarily having to do with COVID-19. So these are for people who cannot work or who have reduced hours due to COVID-19. This is going to be effective from this past January 27th through the end of the year. Also, starting on Friday, April 24th, those who are self-employed or independent contractors or have insufficient work history are going to be able to apply online for unemployment insurance as well. The Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation Program is also going to be available. This is makes for eligible applicants $600 per week extra on top of the current unemployment insurance benefits. And this is effective from the end of March through the end of July. You can apply for this program by going to the link up at the top here at Maryland Department of Labor, and they do have all of the information on application process and who is eligible there. And finally, there's the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program. This provides 13 additional weeks of unemployment insurance benefits, plus the $600 from the previous program. This is also effective from the end of March through the end of the year. And this also starts on April 24th. New claimants and people who are already receiving benefits will automatically receive that additional 13 week of benefits. So if you are already receiving unemployment insurance, you don't need to take any additional steps to receive those benefits. If you have exhausted those benefits, you can reapply for the additional 13 weeks. And if you're a new applicant, that will also go ahead and just automatically apply to your application. So those are a few different things that the Department of Labor are doing to make things a little bit more streamlined for those who are applying for unemployment insurance. So if you're applying yourself as a sole proprietor or for your employees, these are definitely things to take a look at. Again, visit the Maryland Department of Labor website where they have all of the information on the application process and eligibility. And again, these programs become available tomorrow, April 24th. Moving on, as you are well aware, last week the executive order came down that masks will be required in any retail establishments or riding any form of public transportation in Maryland. So a few things to keep in mind. Make sure that you, if you're open, you're having people come in or pick items up, you do need to have a mask yourself, and all of your employees need to have masks, and you should be encouraging your customers to wear masks when they come in as well. So maybe putting up some signage, reminders that they do need to have their faces covered when they're coming into your store or your restaurant or business. As you're aware, last week we discussed that the Small Business Administration is no longer able to accept new applications for the Paycheck Protection Program or for the EIDL assistance program, the disaster loans. That was based on available funding. Since then, the Senate has now passed sort of the CARES Act 3.5, which is going to replenish many of the funds used for the Paycheck Protection Program and for the disaster loans. We are still waiting for the House to pass that, and then of course it'll have to be signed into law. So it's very likely that early next week these applications will start being available again. So it's definitely time to take a moment to prepare. So if you have already applied but did not receive information that you had been approved for these programs, check with your lender or whoever you applied through and make sure that they still have all of your application information. Find out if you need to reapply or if they are just going to use the applications that have already been submitted, and make sure that all of the materials are there as well. If there are incomplete applications, it's likely that there would be a delay, and then you may miss out on this funding again. Based on the demand during the first round, it's very likely that the funding is going to go quickly again, and it is meant to be first come, first served. So making sure that your lenders have that information and have all the application materials ready and able to go ahead and submit to the SBA when that opens up again makes it more likely that you're going to be able to receive those funds. Again, the EIDL, the disaster loans, those are loans, not a grant program. Those do carry an interest rate and have to be repaid after a deferred period. The Paycheck Protection Program is considered a loan, but is actually converted to a grant, depending on the way that the funds are utilized. If you use 100% to take care of payroll, then it is 100% forgivable. And up to 25% can be used on rent, utilities, and things like that, and still be forgivable as well. So there's more information on that on the SBA website and through Maryland's coronavirus website as well. But this is definitely something to take a look at. So right now, if you have already applied, again, check with your lender and see if they have any information on when the applications will be available, or if you need to add anything to your existing application. If you hadn't applied and you're interested in doing so now, make sure that you're contacting those local lenders now. They probably will have their process pretty well ironed out at this point, so you can get the application. The application is also uploaded on our website and is included in my updates, email updates that go out every week. This is a list of local banks that are participating that I've double checked on. There's also a complete list here if you want to click there and see if there are any additional banks or lenders that you could go through. So now is definitely the time to look into that, find out if that's going to be a good program for you, and go ahead and start that application process so that you can be one of the first served going out. Some of the documentation that's going to be required, just to take a look here, if you're a nonprofit, your articles of incorporation, organization, things like that, or your business license, especially if you're a sole proprietor. You'll need completed payroll protection application form, which is available through the lenders, and we've also included a form from the SBA on our website and in our emails. You'll need your IRS quarterly 940, 941, 944 payroll tax reports. Any other 2019 payroll tax reports, documentation of health insurance premiums if that's applicable, retirement plan funding if that's applicable. There's a payroll calculator worksheet. You may, if you have an accountant, this is a great opportunity to talk to them and get that organized. There are instructions on the application itself if you want to do this yourself. A list of all your employees with an annual salary in excess of $100,000, because they won't be eligible for this program. You'll need a copy of the front and back of your driver's license or passport for anyone who's an authorized signer of the business, and then again check with your lender to see if there are any other supplementary facts or answers as requested in the application. So now is definitely time to get that material together so that you're ready when you're able to move forward with the application process. In the meantime, go ahead. Again, we encourage you to reach out to your bank, to your credit card company, and your other creditors. Talk to them about deferred payments, what fees can be waived. Talk to your property owners. Can you defer rent? Things like that. Most utilities companies are deferring or delaying payment. In our area, Potomac Edison is the most used. You can find the information here on what they're doing to help their customers. Talk to your insurance company. See if you have monthly payments that can be delayed or deferred. We also suggest that you continue to look at your fixed costs over the next 6 months. Even as things start to open up, it's going to be a slow process, and there may be additional closings in the future. And there may also be changes to how we do business normally for the next year or so. So it's definitely something to take a look at. What are the things that you have to have in order to get through this period? What are some things that can be deferred? And what are some adjustments that you can make as well? Something also to be aware of, the SBA has released information about, unfortunately, an increase in fraud and scams that are coming up, people taking advantage during this economically difficult time. So be on the lookout for grant fraud, loan fraud, and just general email phishing. The SBA, Small Business Administration, does not initiate contact on your disaster loans or grants. So if you're contacted by somebody who's claiming to be from the Small Business Administration, that is very likely going to be fraud. If you are contacted by somebody who is saying that they can get you approval on an SBA loan, but they want payment up front, that is also not something that the SBA does. So that's something to be suspect of. There's information here on what the SBA limits are as far as what a broker can charge a borrower. So if you're seeing really excessive interest rates on loans, that's probably not something that is eligible or is related to the SBA. If you are in the process of applying for a loan and receive correspondence asking for a PII, that's your individual number, ensure that your application number is consistent with the one that's on the email. Also keep an eye out for those phishing attacks and scams. Just because something has the SBA logo on it does not mean it is genuinely from the SBA. That can be easily downloaded off of the internet. So you want to make sure that any communication coming from that will end in sba.gov. So the logo itself does not necessarily mean that that's accurate. It's always a good idea to cross-reference any information that you receive in those emails with information at sba.gov. Be careful about clicking links unless you're certain of who the email is coming from, and just be generally wary during this time. It's unfortunate that people would take advantage now, but that is something that we have to be concerned with as the government's putting out money, and we're taking advantage of loans and grants and programs. So just a couple final recommendations. Now is definitely the time to really examine how you can adapt your business to fit the new normal. As we say, even as things start to open up, it's going to be a slow process, and very likely, certain things are still going to be preferred. Curbside pickups, home delivery, having takeout windows, pickup windows, things like that. Are there things that you can do to adapt your business? Can you do consultations online? Can you develop your website and have a stronger e-commerce presence? We do keep hearing very much from our national and state partners. E-commerce is going to be a huge part of the recovery process, and the businesses who are adapting and making e-commerce a priority as far as their revenue streams go are more likely to be successful in getting through this period. We are here and happy to help you with that process. I'm hoping within the next week or so we'll be able to finally announce that we're going to make mini grants available to assist with e-commerce and online marketing projects. So keep that in mind as we're moving forward, and we'll get more information out about that as it comes available. Finally, there's a report put out by the Brookings Institute that says that the places that have protected their main streets will have a decisive competitive advantage as we return to normalcy. Our priority is to make sure that our Main Street district, that our downtown Frostburg, is able to get through this period and is able to come back strong. So anything that we can do to help you, any questions that we can answer, if you're not sure where certain resources are, let us know and we'll find that out for you. And if you just need somebody to kind of explain what the upcoming funding opportunities are going to be, or go through any of the applications with you, we're happy to do that as well. If you have any suggestions on things you would like to see through our social media or on our website, or in these updates that we do weekly, please let me know as well. You can always email us at FrostburgFirst@gmail.com, or you can call 301-689-6900, leave a message. While we're working remotely, we are still checking our messages and are very active online. So please let us know too if you're reducing hours, changing any of your services, closing during this crisis, or changing your business model. These are things that we are happy to promote. We do try to keep an updated list of all businesses and their activities, so that the public is aware of who's open and where they're able to still purchase from. Even if it's just that you've got an Etsy shop up, or you've changed your website, let us know so that we can get that information out there as well. So that's everything that I have today on all of the major updates. Again, please contact us if you have any questions or concerns or suggestions. We're here for you. We really want to see Frostburg come through this crisis strong and have a thriving Main Street district. Thank you for joining us today, and again, please contact us with any questions.